I swear, like, these fights just keep going on and on in Black Clover. None of these guys refuse to go down for the count. And yeah, Eyes of the Midnight Sun, you just don't fuck with them. You don't fuck with any of these guys, including the Diamond Kingdom. And it seems even with having Mars on their back, like backing them up throughout the entirety of this, it sounds like it's still going to be a rough ride for not only Asta, but for everyone else in this war right now. So it's time for another Black Clover chapter coming in fresh today with a brand new volume of my series as well. Gotta say, loving the next volume that we've got over here, volume 4. I can't believe I'm still, like, caught up with the series, and goddamn was this chapter something as well, as we saw Mars, after everything, finally coming out on his own and fighting against his own kingdom for, like, what he actually feels is right. And this is the first time we've actually seen Mars really, this is one of the most we've ever seen him talk in general, like, just having this, like, most of the time we've ever seen him, it's just, like, he's always come off very cold and just, like, he doesn't really care about anything in life in general. But when in this chapter we was finding out a lot about him, was, like, he actually seems to have, like, cares about, innocent people, and he's, like, full well that our objective is just, like, the forest queen, that why you just keep going for everyone. And he's just like, and the guy is just like, are you like a stissy or something like that? Yeah, if you let them go and all that, you'll also be a fugitive. Like, you can't be talking like this and all that. These people are defending, like, the fugitives from the kingdom. You gotta accept this shit and all that. But it's just like, he was now about to right there and then, like, attack them. And if it wasn't for, like, Mariella, like, coming out and attacking him, and it's just like, no, like, don't go killing someone off like that, like, afterward. And just like, she didn't learn at all throughout the entirety of this guy's power is ridiculous, where he can just keep absorbing things, where it's just like, even to this, like, sheer astounds that he was taking Mariella, he was taking all of these guys. Now, even like when you got to see Mars going in, he was just loving it. He was just firing it back, like, all to them down, and like, even like Mars, you saw he cared. He was like, oh, I'm gonna use my fire healing magic, and that Phoenix now, like, quick and all that. Get out of there, we'll catch up later and all that. I'm gonna, like, drag him out there, and the first thing we need to do and all that is to actually, break him. We need to, like, give him more mana that, than his tank can handle. That we need the spirit magic or the power of the forest queen to even do this. And the other thing that we could actually do is anti-magic. We get Asta in here, he takes care of that, negates his magic, and he can deal with this. However, though, Asta is a little bit preoccupied for the moment, as he's actually still continuously fighting Fana. Like, Fana actually didn't go down, and Asta was just, like, swinging, like, his swords around, just like, oh my god, just go down, surrender peacefully now, woman. Like, just, this is ridiculous at this point, and she's there, barely hanging on like that, like, with all this fire everywhere, destroying the forest, and it's just like, he's like, come on, and all that, if you keep up this nonsense, it'll be, like, your friends and family, they'll be sad. He's like, don't you ever, talk about, like, you humans talk about my friends, that you don't know anything. It's just like, even all of them are just like, how can she seriously have this much power? And it's like, well, that's what happens when you deal with the elites of the Eye of the Midnight Sun. Like, you just do not fuck with these guys at all. However, though, we did get to see Mars, and everyone else did manage to, like, group up again and able to deal with the scenario, although, like, he had fun, like, firing out the giant salamander fire blast, and it's just like, oh, quick, fire that, like, fireball to us and all that. Asta had to swing the fireball, then Fazio had to come around, use his magic, combine it with his own, and hitting this dude right in the back, and it's like, oh, and even when he was like, oh shit, this is too big and all that for me to even, like, take on there, and it's just like, that's honestly how the chapter ended. If anything, like, I will say, like, the chapter, like, for some reason this week, like, especially just felt short, although it wasn't, like, lacking anything. I did think, like, it just felt a little bit, like, short-sighted or something in there, because I feel like there was maybe it was because there was multiple things. We were seeing, like, a bunch of perspectives from the story that we're seeing, obviously, from, like, Mars' side for a good chunk of the stuff, and then we got to see, like, Asta, he was there, like, he was dealing with this scenario with Fana, and then it's like they both came full circle right at the end, adding, like, the two of them together and finally dealing with what this Diamond General, and generally think that this is, like, if anything, if not, it feels like, well, we're getting here, like, what, honestly, Asta has to deal with, and, like, how, like, the series, as we've been talking for a while, has not really been trying to phase out Asta. Obviously, he's the main character at the end of the day, but it's really trying to focus heavily a lot more on other characters, and it's like, it's weird that how the series now, after, like, near 100 chapters, is now trying to not take all, like, has to take all the shine to the series. It's like, no, we want this guy Fanzel, we want him there, we want Mars in there, we want all of these characters to have their moment to shine, And I think definitely that was something we noticed when it, especially even with the volume that I recently got as well coming out, is that this was the one, I feel like, especially volume 4, is where I think a lot of people kind of agree that Black Clover kind of like started to change a little bit. Like it started to like finally come into its own full circle. It started introducing like all the different families around the corner. It started to like change things and, you know, get a little bit more like, you know, like adding into more of the mix and all that, add its own little flavor here and there, like even adding zombies and stuff to this. And now we're in a giant forest battle with like dragons and demons, and then like this Diamond King. There's like this really like interesting kind of like two-sided, like, it feels honestly like, you know, even though it's like a two-sided war, it honestly feels like it's like 3 or 4 oppositions are happening right now, because you obviously now you got Mars and all that. We don't even know exactly too much of what he really wants and all that. He seems like he's still a little bit weirded out, but with what honestly he's done and all that, it doesn't seem like now at this point he can even go back to the Diamond Kingdom. So whether or not if he's going to be joining Asta or not, like whether he's going to be joining his group or what's going to be happening, if he's just going to become a rogue at this point, or whether or not he's going to be going with Fanzel's group and all that, he might join him. We'll have to wait and see. But other than that, I did think it was a pretty solid chapter this week. Not the best one, but I definitely did say I would enjoy this one. And definitely one of the things I did like was like when you saw like Fana just still hanging in there. I was like, because a lot was honestly with like what we saw Vito and all that, it was like he was kind of guaranteed like, oh, he's the strongest out of them all and all that. And he's like, you don't mess with this guy. And I definitely do appreciate that. Fana, they are giving her a lot of screen time, and they're giving her a lot of time to show, no, she is, this is a reason why she's up there as well, and that she's definitely like being like shown that she is one of the powerful ones, although not the strongest out of them all and all that. It's definitely shown that she is like showcasing her own strength as well in this battle, and that how many people it is taking, like thinking of how many people they're combining here right now. You got Fanzel's group, you got Marge, you got Asta, you got the Black Bulls, like how many people are still taking it down, and like even with that it took Vito as well to take him down. So I definitely really appreciated that about the chapter, and you know, I'll start seeing a little bit more of Mars's personality right now, but it's going to be more interesting now that technically they've now gone together, Mars and Fana. So I'm wanting to know what that is, because he did notice at the chapter, he's like, I noticed this energy. So their whole confrontation is going to be something very interesting as well, now that all the characters are here right now. But that is all from me, though. So thank you much for watching as always, and if you remember, if you love this chapter and all that, Black Clover, you know to hit that like, that subscribe, and just wait for the anime to come out, ladies and gentlemen. Only got to wait a little bit into the next year, but there we go. We are going to be getting it sometime soon, and alongside with also as well the Jump Festa OAD as well. So look forward to that. That's all from me, and I'll see you guys though next time.